shakalaka, just days from Elon Musk's SNL appearance, we have the most bullish indicator for Bitcoin and altcoins we have ever seen, plus an insanely skilled trader calling a Cardano pump. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's episode, we're talking about the most bullish indicator for Bitcoin and altcoins signaling right now. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also, come join us over on Twitter at the Crypto Love, where every week we're giving away sweet shirts like this one. And also, today's video is sponsored by Wise Token, so stay tuned till the end of it for a sweet interview with the founder. Now, today on CoinMarketCap, not that exciting a day. Down 1.15%, pretty much a sideways market today, not what everybody wants. But we have some insanely bullish news for Bitcoin and even more for altcoins that could send the price into the stratosphere, but beyond that, because the stratosphere is pretty close. So like into the next universe. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that stuff. Now, we are mere days, like less than 2 days away from Elon Musk appearing on SNL. People have been talking about Dogecoin to 69 cents, to 42 cents on 420, to $1. Where's it going to go? Well, Elon Musk has actually scaled back his Dogecoin hype after he watched my video. No. Anyways, what happened was he says that he thinks that people should not invest their life savings in cryptocurrency. To be clear, he does not think it's wise. Yes, it's volatile. Yes, probably not great. He has a lot of income coming in. He has the ability to spend a lot in cryptocurrency. If other people, sometimes it can go down 90%. But there's much more high chance that it's going up, as we'll be talking about later on. He does go on to say, and this is about Dogecoin, he says that fate loves irony. Like, what would be the most ironic outcome that the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency? And, you know, he does have a point. He's talking about, well, wouldn't that be cool if Dogecoin actually became, like, the main currency, if that eclipsed Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else? And that does sound awesome. However, there are a couple things that, if you believe that's going to happen, you really need to watch this. A couple of videos here I made about Dogecoin, just some warnings for Dogecoin investors. While it is fun, while it is an awesome meme coin, there are some serious red flags you need to consider if you're holding Dogecoin, especially if you're like all in Dogecoin. Now, for Bitcoin, the biggest thing to happen for Bitcoin since 2017, okay? If you look over here behind my head, 2017, as you can see here, we're talking like we're right here on this graph before it went all the way up there. Now, in case you don't know where that was right around $3,000 before it went up to, say $20,000. Say almost 10xing. We were like right there. Now, this is from Trading Shot, one of my favorite traders over on TradingView, and he basically says that there's a conversion line baseline cross, which is this blue line and this reddish line. When they cross, and then Bitcoin bounces off of the Ichimoku cloud, which is this green little area right here. Well, guess what? After that happens, like right here, boom, giant run up. Here it went from $900 to $3,000. Or maybe that was $90. Yeah, something like that. And then we had another one here. Like I said, $1,700 all the way up to $4,900. Here we had this one, $3,000 up to $20,000. Well, if we take a look where we are right now, we can see that we have a baseline cross, a conversion line cross, and bouncing off of the Ichimoku cloud. Now, the last time that we did this in this cycle, Bitcoin was way down around $10,000, went all the way up to $65,000. Well, we're doing it once again right here, and there is the likelihood that we could see Bitcoin going astronomical. Absolutely astronomical. So that is very, very exciting for Bitcoin. And that's not all, because as of today, we had unprecedented capital inflows into Bitcoin, removed 12,000 Bitcoin from Coinbase in an hour. So we're seeing this again. We're seeing Bitcoin going from Coinbase Pro, where we can trade it, to Coinbase Custody, where institutions buy it. So what they say here is that data from on-chain monitoring resource Glassnode showed 12,354 Bitcoin, equal to $694 million, being withdrawn from Coinbase order book in a single hour on Friday. Sudden tranches in excess of 10,000 Bitcoin headed to private wallets is far from unheard of, but nonetheless demonstrates his desire at least to store Bitcoin for the long term instead of keeping it within easy reach of a point of sale. Somebody's buying it to hodl. The type of investor behind such transactions remains uncertain. It could be a private individual or a small group, as well as an institutional investor or a corporate client. But somebody is buying up $500 million of Bitcoin. Maybe it's Elon Musk because he knows that there's going to be a big announcement on Saturday Night Live tomorrow, potentially. And we can see this giant candle right there, total transfer volume of Bitcoin on Coinbase. Now, Bitcoin recently has just been hovering on the bottom of this bullish megaphone. Okay, it hasn't spent much time on the bottom of this bullish megaphone. You can see it touched back here in October, touched it here again in October. Wasn't again until December where it touched it right before it went from $10,000 to $40,000. So, potentially, we could see some big gains upcoming for Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, it is forming this ascending wedge right here between the blue line and the white line. It's forming that to break out by the end of May. April and May, historically big months for Bitcoin. This pattern generally can be a bullish pattern, so we'll kind of have to watch that. But I know a lot of you don't care about Bitcoin. I do, but you don't. But guess what? For all of you altcoin boys out there, altcoin moon boys, okay, my favorite type of boys, altcoin moon boys. Well, guess what? Altcoins just repeated a move that could launch them 27,000% higher in 2021. That's 270xing whatever your investment is. Can you just take a moment to imagine that? Like whatever you have right now, imagine that times 270. That is freaking awesome. So the altcoin market has flipped its previous cycle high to support, and the last time that happened, it gained 27,623% in a year. Now, Rex Capital noted that at the start of 2017, the market cap of altcoins flipped its previous cycle high to support. That high had come in late 2013, and as a new floor level, it launched the market cap to a peak no less than 27,623% above it. The same thing could happen by the end of 2021. In the next 7 months, could you imagine 270xing your investment? How much would an altcoin market be worth if it were to reach 27 blah 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 percent of its 2017 high? A princely $152.6 trillion. Holy cow, if we take a look at the graph here. Now, before we go into how unlikely that is, I mean, the market cap of gold is 10 trillion, but that's 150. It's possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Capital inflows. Banks are scared of DeFi. We have a lot going on with DeFi. As we can see here, he's saying 2013, the altcoin high, okay? It flipped above it, and then it found support on it, and from that point to that point, 27,000%. Well, guess what? We just finished the cup. We bounced off at support. Guess what? Likely to have some insane altcoin gains coming up. I don't like holding altcoins, but this is an indicator that altcoins could be growing enormously. And one great way to take advantage of these altcoin gains is to join us in like these videos right here, where I talk about the best altcoins to buy. These low cap altcoins you can get on KuCoin for pennies on the dollar and make absolutely insane gains using machine learning, using artificial intelligence, and using one of the top platforms out there, Token Metrics, to find them. You can check out the platform, pinned link down in the comments and also in the description, or you could just check out this video right here for this past week's altcoins. Now, for all of you Cardano fanboys, gosh, I love fanboys, and you 2 or 3 fangirls out there. Well, Peter Brandt, veteran trader, hedge fund trader, very good trader, he says Cardano, ADA, pump, 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 pump. Now, right now, ADA UST is going sideways, but he's saying, hey, potentially, we might see a pump. Now, if we take a look at the Cardano Bitcoin chart, because I don't like looking at altcoins unless you compare it to Bitcoin, well, you can see we have between this dotted line right here and this previous resistance line from the top to this one here, which we've just kind of broken out of. Guess what? Cardano is about to break out of it, potentially breaking to the upward side as we see right here. If it can get some more steam, could break out of there, go intergalactically. So we had some great news for Bitcoin. We had some great news for Elon Musk. We had some great news for altcoins and some great news for Cardano. Now, guys, stay tuned for the Wise Token interview. Boom shakalaka, what's going on? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today I am joined by Peter Gurr, the founder of Wise Token. What's going on, Peter?
Hey, what's up, Randall? Good to be here, man.
Yeah, great to have you. So we're going to talk about some pretty awesome stuff that you have going on right now with Wise Token. But real fast for people who are new to Wise Token, what is it and what value does it add to cryptocurrency?
Sure. So the value it adds to cryptocurrency is, first of all, the way it was designed. It's very important, like what the distribution schedule of the token is, how many tokens there are, who gets them in the beginning. A lot of times you see like founders or teams who end up being whale wallets and holding a huge portion of the token. So it was very important to me and for the team that we actually did this completely fair launch. So no free tokens for me, none for my team. We actually held an auction. So we launched on Ethereum. We're now launching on Binance Smart Chain. But when we launched on day auction, everybody had to participate on equal footing as an investor in those auctions. And the result of that was economic decentralization. Our biggest whale owns less than 1% of the total supply. Like compare that to other wallets where you see people owning 40-50% of the entire market cap. So how it was made is really important. I think one of the big reasons that Bitcoin is still very successful today is because of the decentralized distribution schedule. Anybody could have, back in the day, could have, mined Bitcoin on their computer. It's a little harder to do now, but it was free to all, and there wasn't any profits going back to Satoshi all this time. It was economically decentralized, and so that was very important. The other part about what the token itself is that it's asset backed. And so for me, I discovered cryptocurrency in 2016. The first one that I got into, I lost all my money. It was a passive profit platform. And I learned, I got burned hard, and it taught me the lesson that, we should really strive for complete economic decentralization. If there's any parts that are centralized, then that's just not going to fly, and you shouldn't trust it. So I spent the next 5 years developing and designing Wise. And what I wanted to do was create a token that was backed by assets, kind of like how the US dollar was a lot more valuable when you could redeem it for gold back in the 1970s and prior. And so I wanted to do that, not like having a pot of gold. There's been like supposedly gold-backed tokens where there's like third parties and gold in custody and stuff like that. No, that's too archaic. I wanted it all on blockchain, and instead of gold, we can use Ether. And Ether. At the time we started building it, there weren't people saying things like this, but even Mark Cuban has come out and been like, Ethereum is the closest thing to real money we actually have. So that was the idea. But how do you provably back a token with a big pot of Ether or BNB or whatever you're backing with? The technology wasn't really there until 2018 when Uniswap started getting popular. And so Uniswap, most people use it as an investment tool where you can provide liquidity or you can trade it. But Wise Token actually uses it as a bank, because one thing that Uniswap can do is it can hold massive pools of liquidity that can be locked. And that's the important part, the fact that you can actually lock them. So what we did with Wise Tokens is that we had 50% of the supply that we auctioned off during 50 days. We raised 55,000 Ether plus, which is like $150 million now. And then we paired that $150 million of ETH with the other 50% of supply in a Uniswap liquidity pool. And then we manually locked it forever by sending the LP tokens to a burn address. So what the result of that is, now there's $370 million of liquidity in our Wise ETH pair on Uniswap, and our market cap's only $150 million. So how's that for backing up the token with actual real value? Even if everyone cashed out on Uniswap, there would still be $100 million left in the pair. So that's how we did it. And that's like the token itself. And by creating a token like that, it's made a token that was resistant to impermanent loss, which made it very interesting to use it as a liquidity provider token. So on QuickSwap, for instance, on the Matic Polygon network, we have like $12 million of Wise over there because the QuickSwap exchange is giving like 100% plus APY rewards in their Quick tokens for providing liquidity over there on the Wise ETH pair. And so since Wise is backed by ETH, the price moves together, with very little wiggle room, and that really destroys any impermanent loss that's going to happen. So basically, we proved our model. We launched in December 31st. It's been 4 months. Things are going great, except for ridiculously high gas fees, as you've probably experienced on Ethereum. And so we wanted to do ecosystem expansion. Time to launch Smart Chain, which is also doing really, really well and has much less gas fees. So now we're in the middle of our pre-sale. We're going to do the same thing, it's a different token, Wise B, that's backed by BNB rather than ETH. And we're in the middle of that big liquidity raise right now.
Awesome. So you're talking about an expansion, creating a new token, Wise B. So how is that going to interact with the current ecosystem, and what's that going to do for Wise token?
So it's going to, first of all, expand the amount of people that know about the Wise brands. So that's very important because there's a lot of people that are on Binance Smart Chain that have never heard of Wise, and that maybe they do, maybe they're not just on Binance Smart Chain, but they're also on Ethereum as well. A lot of times, if people like a project, that they'll want to have some of all the tokens, like they'll want to get exposed to all of it. But essentially, for people that are holding various different cryptocurrencies, you might have a portion in BNB and a portion in ETH. So it's the same way here. You have a portion of Wise on Ethereum that's backed by Ether, a portion of Wise on Binance Smart Chain that's backed in BNB, and that's just part of your whole portfolio. We are expanding to Polkadot as well, and so we want to launch on every major blockchain, and then eventually we'll just create an index fund, which that'll be like one Wise that's a piece of each one, so that you can own like a piece of every major blockchain, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So you say that each Wise is backed by Ethereum. So have you noticed that the price of Wise kind of fluctuates with Ethereum?
Yep, it's very closely correlated just because of the fact that there's that massive liquidity pool on Uniswap. So that's our market, and our market is on that DEX. It's that massive pair, and that pair is half of Ether. So when Ether goes up in price, it just automatically makes the price go up because that's literally half the market cap right there. Mm-hmm. So we just saw Wise go from like 35 cents to 72 cents in the last few weeks because of Ether, and it's the same way on Binance Smart Chain too. When we launch, whatever the price of BNB does, it'll be very closely correlated. However, the buys and sells on the DEX are an additional factor to that. So if people are also buying more Wise tokens on the decentralized exchange, that can compound the effects, or it can diminish the effects too if you sell. However, there's like the safety net of a price floor that, okay, people can sell, but there's only so many tokens to sell, and there's so much liquidity that at least you're guaranteed to have X amounts back.
Mm-hmm. And then for people, what's the value to buying Wise token as opposed to like Ethereum or BNB? You said it's more volatile. They could potentially have larger gains.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm going to use Ethereum as an example because people used to say Ethereum is programmable money. And so Wise is programmed money. There's a lot more things you can do with Wise than you can just Ethereum. First of all, you can stake it to earn more Wise. You can stake Ethereum too, but like the most you're going to get is like 7.5% on Coinbase or wherever you stake it. You know, maybe you can do better on Alpha Homora or something like that. You'll be lucky to get more than 10% ROI just holding ETH and like staking it with a protocol. But Wise is backed by ETH and resistant to impermanent loss when paired with ETH. So you could, you know, take half your ETH, buy Wise with it, bring it over to QuickSwap, be making 100% ROI on QuickSwap tokens, and be resistant to impermanent loss, never lose any value versus the ETH. So that's a lot more, like 100% ROI is a lot more interesting than 10% ROI. So liquidity providing is a big part of our value added. And you can also just stake it with a contract as well to just straight up earn more Wise tokens. It's less ROI, but it's also a little bit safer because you're not dealing with liquidity and managing pools, and who knows how long QuickSwap is going to offer rewards. So you might want to, you know, move it over to another partner DEX or something like that. And so there's just a lot of options, but our ecosystem isn't completely built out yet. The biggest part, we're actually finishing and deploying. So the token, Wise was never meant to be just a token itself. Even if it is really good and resistant to impermanent loss, we want it to be part of a whole new lending and borrowing ecosystem, which is hugely in demand right now. I mean, just look at, you know, MakerDAO, Aave, Compound, all lending and borrowing protocols that have gone from less than $1 billion total value locked just a year and a half ago to now like 10 billion each. And so there's a massive demand because these products are just strictly better than your experience borrowing and lending in the finance 1.0 world. It's just so much better. Even if you're not really in crypto and just doing the stable coins, it's still way better. Like you can literally earn 20% ROI on stable coins with a safe protocol that you know is not going to get hacked. So there's a huge need for that. And so we're going into that space. But but our twist on this is we give all the profits back to the users. So in like Aave, Compound, MakerDAO, like they're companies, and their goal is to you know, increase their profits as a company. But I was able to fund Wise completely out of my pocket. Like this is my baby, and that gave me leeway to be able to build it any way I wanted. And so I believe it's going to be a huge competitive advantage that actually all the profits go back to the users. And the way that happens is through our reserve pool. So every lending and borrowing protocol needs a reserve pool in case they run out of like USDC or something and there's a demand for borrowers. So our pool is going to be held in Wise tokens, and those tokens get converted whenever they get needed. But that's open to the public. Anybody can lend their Wise tokens to this reserve pool, and it will get used when it's needed. Whoever is lending to the reserve pool owns a percentage of that profit, such that all the profits from you know, borrowing, lending, liquidations, just all the arbitrage that's happening, those profits go to the people who are lending their Wise to that reserve pool. So for instance, if you are lending 10% of the total Wise tokens in the pool, you're literally earning 10% of the total profits for the ecosystem. And what this means is, as our total value locked goes up from people lending and borrowing, it increases the profits, which increases the demand for people to use Wise to be able to earn a piece of those profits. So that's kind of like the engine that drives our ecosystem. And I'm very excited about that because you know, for a DeFi to be a true replacement for traditional banking, you really need to have the full suite. You can't just have a staking program. Like you need lending and borrowing. You need to be able to do everything, like fiat onboarding as well, which we're getting in like a month and a half. And you just need to be able to do everything you can in a regular bank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you've got everything pretty much planned out for your expansion to become a all-in-one stop for decentralized financial services.
Yeah, I've been working on it for 5 years, man, and we got a pretty stacked team too. I've been lucky enough to run into some amazing people. So besides myself, we have Aaron, who is working as a lead dev in a big company called Numerator in Chicago. And so it used to be just me and him like a year and a half ago. And then we found an amazing Solidity developer that was able to be a huge addition to our team. And then there's two people that are both German mathematicians that from the very start have been like in this group where I would be like, I'd write the white paper for like how I think things should be, and I put in this group and be like, shoot holes in this, guys. What do you think? What do you think will happen? We just talk about like the tokenomics of like how to design things and stuff. And so eventually I just brought them on the team as well, because when you're designing things from the ground up, it's really good to have mathematicians when you're talking about how to craft the tokenomics. And then we have a couple community guys as well. Devin, our community manager, has been great with all the social media. It used to be like just me on YouTube, live streaming every day, talking to people about asset-backed technologies. And now we've just grown so much. So yeah, we got a stacked roadmap, man. And I can't wait until it's all done later this year.
Awesome. So it sounds like for anyone who wants to get into what could potentially become like an Aave or a giant compound or something like that, it seems like a good time because you're developing, you're building, you're growing. So what do you want people to know right now about what's going on with moving to BNB or Binance Smart Chain?
Right. So we're holding a massive liquidity formation event. It's basically our pre-sale. There's 5 days left in it. The importance of raising awareness and having this be as big as possible is because this is what determines what our locked liquidity is going to be. We can't add any more locked liquidity after this because people will just be buying and selling on PancakeSwap. The amount of liquidity we raise determines how much profits are going to be made as well. The more liquidity, the more profits and earning that it's going to be made. So we're going all out for this. There's over $500,000 of BNB being given like as cash prizes for participators, in addition to the fact that you're getting BNB at the base price like before listing. And so I definitely want people to know to like check out our website, see our pre-sale that's going on, and participate in our liquidity raise because it's epic, and the BNB that you're contributing is not only getting you in at the very start, but it is contributing to a liquidity pool that's going to power the whole system like from that point on.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So it's very similar to what you did with Ethereum back on Uniswap. This time you're just doing it on PancakeSwap. Is that correct?
The staking contract is exactly the same. There was a tokenomics upgrade though that allowed us to create more profits, because right now there's not much profits being generated on Ethereum because we just created a big pot of liquidity, and there's a price floor. If everybody sold their Ys, there would still be 28,000 ETH in the pair, but that 28,000 ETH isn't doing anything. It's just sitting there on Uniswap. So we did a tokenomics upgrade that allows us to use the BNB that is below the price floor to be lent out to protocols like Alpha Homora to be able to generate profits that are then airdropped onto stakers. So there's a whole extra level on BNB of generating profits that isn't there on Ethereum. That basically to get on this one and become a staker on this one, you should see about double the amount of rewards you see on Ethereum. Now, I think that once we drop the lending contract on both Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, that's just going to blow everything else away because that statistically that's going to generate tens of millions of dollars per year if there's several billion total value locked on it. And that it makes everything else look like peanuts. So I do think the lending contract is going to be our main value driver. But for right now, like the tokenomics upgrade and the profits that are generated should make it very interesting for people that get involved in the BNB launch.
Yeah, sounds awesome. So where does someone go to find out more information to get involved in this? How does someone go ahead and do that?
It's on wisetoken.net/BSC for Binance Smart Chain. You need a MetaMask wallet and some BNB on the Binance Smart Chain. So that's like BEP20 on the Binance Smart Chain. And you just connect up to the site. It's linked right into our contract, and you can participate from there.
Cool. Anything else that you want people to know while we're chatting?
You know, I think I said just about everything. I know I've been talking super fast. I'm very excited to finally be doing this. I really do think 5 years, 10 years down the roads, we're going to see more protocols that are truly designed to like for the user, not to generate money as a company. When I discovered blockchain, the interesting part about it to me was that you can create a system that is $0 overhead cost. Like that's the golden egg about cryptocurrency, is that you can create this complex financial system that if you look, how do you replicate that in the real world, like the non-digital world, that costs billions of dollars to maintain and to run, like brick and mortar, websites and all this stuff. You can literally create a blockchain technology that once it's done, upload it, boom, it doesn't cost anything except for the transaction cost from the users every time somebody does something. That is extremely, you take that technology and then you use the traditional company, Silicon Valley model, where everybody gets a piece of something. That kind of destroys the efficiency. So by doing 100% profit sharing, and by making a system that's really focused on the user and the user making enough money as possible, that keeps with the efficiency, and it really compounds on the already super efficient technology of blockchain. And so I think, that the ones that are built like traditional companies are going to eventually fall away, because they're just not as good deals as the technology that's doing the same thing, and it gives all the profits back to the user. So I think efficiency is huge, and I think Wise Token is looking like 2 steps ahead in this game, and that's it's going to have a long road ahead of it, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds great, and I think that's pretty awesome that even if everybody were to cash out, you'd still have basically half of the ETH locked there. So there's definitely that value floor, which gives people some security. So yeah, thanks very much for joining us on this interview today. And for everybody who wants to, make sure to go check out the website and check out the great stuff they're doing with Binance Smart Chain. All right, have a good one, Peter.
Thanks. It's nice to meet you, Randall.